This little molecule caused quite the scare in Kittitas County. Test results for the CWU student who was tested for the novel coronavirus are in, and they're negative.
Parents and students have made it clear they don't want styrofoam trays in Ellensburg schools.
The vape ban is over, and this is how it's impacting local businesses.
I saw 2 good employees go out the door without a job, and I want to make sure that they still had a job at the end of the day.
Welcome to the February 11th edition of Central Newswatch, your home for Kittitas County news. I'm Mariah Vias.
And I'm Mary Park. Test results for the student being tested for the novel coronavirus came back negative on Friday.
Immediately after, the student got taken out of isolation, according to Kittitas County public health officials. There have been a total of 24 tests in Washington as of February 10th, 1 positive and 22 negative. There is still 1 test pending. Globally, there are more than 40,000 confirmed cases, 40,235 in China, according to the World Health Organization. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention recommends you do everything you do to prevent the flu. Wash your hands often and be sure to disinfect objects. Stay away from people who are sick, and if you're sick, stay home.
ASUW passed a parking resolution meant to help end the struggle to find parking on campus. According to the 2019 to 2029 Capital Master Plan, 5,546 parking permits were sold in the 2017 to 2018 academic year. There's only 4,456 parking spots on campus. ASUW passed a resolution officially recognizing the parking problem, the overselling of permits, and the need for more free parking. This resolution requests that CWU stop the overselling of parking permits, that people with a handicap permit not be charged for parking when parking in an ADA spot, the free lot on the corner of 18th and Alder be maintained. It also makes the CWU's Chief of Police and the VP of Operations responsible for solving all parking-related issues. According to ASUW President Jasmine Washington, this resolution is the first step to improving the parking situation on campus.
One of our goals for ASUW is to influence students to walk, because everything in Ellensburg is within walking distances, and it's great for sustainability to ride your bike, to use our public transportation that we're actually paying fees on.
CWU Police also plans on looking into sharing the parking lot on the rodeo grounds. The city only uses the lot during rodeo season, so it would create more parking for students throughout the school year.
Washington's temporary flavored vape ban expired this past Saturday, February 8th. Before the ban expired, nobody knew if a permanent one would take its place. But Apollo White tells us that didn't stop one vape shop from opening its doors a week early.
Since the temporary flavor ban passed in October, Ellensburg's local vape shop, Cloud 509, has been closed for business. Cloud 509 may be gone for good, but the shop is taking on a new identity, Ellensburg Vapor Company. Even though the shop's new owner, Christopher Kraus, didn't know if a permanent ban would replace the temporary one, he decided to open his shop on February 3rd, almost a week before the ban was set to expire.
We're going to make a go of it with unflavored tobacco, with a little bit of glassware, bring in some alternatives like rolling paper, lighters, just see if that would work. However, we lucked out and the flavor ban was overturned.
Kraus said he wasn't affected personally by the ban, but he did have the opportunity to give jobs back to the employees who had lost their jobs because of the ban.
I saw 2 good employees go out the door without a job, and I want to make sure that they still had a job at the end of the day.
When the flavor ban passed in October, the previous owner of Cloud 509 decided to close down the business, giving little notice to the employees. While the temporary ban caused many people across Washington state to lose their jobs, one of the ban's original intentions was to help decrease the number of underage people getting access to nicotine products. Kraus wants to help combat youth nicotine addiction and enforces a strict policy in his shop.
Essentially, the second that you enter that door, doesn't matter how old you are, we are going to ID check you. The second you come up to the counter, we have an ID scanner for that exact reason. We go above and beyond to make sure that the ID is, hasn't expired. We'll make sure that we look at it, of course, and then we will scan it to take the extra precaution there.
From downtown Ellensburg, Apollo White, Central Newswatch.
Ellensburg's Vapor Company is open for business and sells vaping products to adults aged 21 or older. Now, Mary, when the news broke about the student being tested for the novel coronavirus, all over student media's Facebook pages were, "I'm going to transfer, I'm out," and then right when the test came back negative, everything went back to normal.
Yeah, I remember all the students talking about it in class, but it's a real relief that it came back negative.
Will CWU's campus soon be tobacco-free?
What do students think of a tobacco-free campus?
Even though it's probably not the best, but it's their coping mechanism, and just taking that away from them, it's not allowing them to cope with whatever they're going through.
Walnut Mall has been designated as a pedestrian-only zone, yet vehicles often drive in this area. The orange bollards that will be going up around campus will prevent vehicles from being able to drive in the areas where students walk.
The guy on the left has some good friends. See why they're doing daily burpees for him.
Central Newswatch, television news and sports for Ellensburg and all of Kittitas County.
Empowering people out of poverty, helping kids like Grace and her whole community to shine. There's nothing quite like it. At World Vision, we've seen what happens when a child gets clean water or nutritious food, when she feels safe, gets to learn in a classroom, or discovers that she has infinite worth. Together, we're working to help every kid everywhere grow into who God created them to be. Thanks to partners like you, it's happening every minute of every day. Every 60 seconds, a family gets water. A hungry child is fed. A family gets the tools to overcome poverty. Reach out with us and help people change their own lives for good. Learn more at worldvision.org.
It's time to put your toys away. It's bedtime.
Just a little longer.
5 more minutes. Boy, are you ready to go?
Almost finished, Mom.
5 more minutes. You're gonna be late for graduation. James.
Okay, I'm going.
To all the parents who gave their children the time to discover their passions, thank you.
CW Facilities wants to improve safety on campus by putting up bollards around campus.
Jessica, can you tell us how these posts will help keep students safe?
These bollards are meant to keep vehicles out of pedestrian-only areas on campus. These areas already have signs posting that they are pedestrian-only areas, but the posts are ways of enforcing that. One area in particular is Walnut Mall. According to the Vice President of Facilities, Andreas Bowman, vehicles often drive in this area when students are trying to walk to class. This puts students at risk of being run over. Maintenance vehicles will be directed to alternative routes, but emergency vehicles will still be able to get through them. Fire trucks and ambulances are large enough to break the posts, but police will need a key to remove them. These bollards will be placed at North and South Walnut Mall, Chestnut Mall, between Science 1 and Discovery Hall. Now, Mariah, they'll also be placed at the west entrance of the Barge Courtyard and the north entrance of Dugmore Hall. From the studio, Jessica Perez, Central Newswatch.
CW Facilities doesn't have an exact date for when they're expected to pop up around campus, but they expect it to be any day now.
Will Lincoln Elementary School start using reusable plastic trays for their meal programs this spring? Plans are still up in the air, but the Ellensburg School District Board is evaluating this option. Crowd of people attended the school district board meeting last Thursday. Some brought signs and styrofoam trays. The meeting addressed the district's use of styrofoam trays to serve lunches to students. The school board formed a committee last fall to investigate the effects of polystyrene on the environment and human health. It advised the board with reusable plastic trays as an alternative solution.
So this eliminates student exposure to styrene. It has the smallest environmental impact. It has the smallest operating cost increase to the district.
Estimated budget plans for a reusable tray program showed labor and equipment as some of the operation costs. The committee also recognized the challenges of securing funding to maintain long-term operation.
So our committee is unable to identify a funding solution that is guaranteed to be permanent because the very nature of school funding is impermanent.
The city of Ellensburg gave the committee a grant of $3,200. This was to support implementation of reusable trays at Lincoln Elementary School this spring. The committee requested approval from the board to raise additional funds to start the program.
Now we're going to have to do our due diligence, and we're going to put this on another agenda and do a meeting so we can work with district staff and get clarification
school board announced that they would discuss more about this at their next meeting on February 19.
Today, CWU students can utilize smoking zones around campus, but what would happen if all those zones were taken away? Tamara Savau spent the afternoon at the Cirque getting student input about a tobacco-free campus.
Representatives from the Wellness Center, ASCWU, Public Health, and the Police Department all sat as a panel to listen in on student opinions.
The fact that we're still developing our brains as individuals when we get here as freshmen. The 18-year-old brain is not fully developed, so I'm wondering what impact secondhand smoke might have on that brain, as well as smoking a cigarette in general.
Students were not the only ones expressing their worries about secondhand smoke.
But we do know that secondhand smoke does lead to lung cancer for people who are breathing in just that secondhand, that they have no decision in that making.
According to statistics from last year, 12 to 13% of Central students use tobacco products on campus. By going tobacco-free, Central can reduce the amount of students who use tobacco to 2 to 3%.
Our biggest concern is just making sure that students are getting the resources to help them quit. I think there's a lot of misconceptions that we are starting this new policy right away. Absolutely not. That's really not the public health way.
ASCWU said this policy will take 3 to 5 years to actually be implemented. However, not all students are on board with the idea of a tobacco-free campus. Jessica and Karina Avalos Reyna utilize the smoking zones on campus at least a few times a week.
If you do take it away from them, they're going to find ways to do it, and then that'll get them in trouble. So whether you're if you're taking it away for a good cause, you have to think about those people who do smoke and who have been smoking for a couple years. It's like you're kind of putting them in the shadows.
Avalos Reyna also said that smoking is a coping mechanism for a lot of students on campus and that CWU should allow them to keep coping the way that they want to. From CWU campus, Tamara Savau, Central Newswatch.
Decision has been made on whether or not CWU will become a tobacco-free campus.
Back in March, Governor Jay Inslee signed a bill moving the state's presidential primary from May to March 10th. ASCWU and the League of Women Voters hosted Let's Talk About Primaries to inform students and the community about the changes to this year's primaries and how to get involved. Moving the primary to a week after Super Tuesday will benefit the Democratic Party this year and Republicans in future elections. The presidential preference primary is the only election in Washington state that requires voters to declare a party. Party declaration does not affect your voter registration for future elections. Kittitas County Auditor Jerry Pettit at the event stated that if the ballot doesn't have a declared party, a letter will be sent out requesting that change to be made or the ballots will not be counted. Ballots are due back no later than March 10th. Kittitas County, along with Grant and Lincoln County, fall in the 13th Congressional District, which decides when delegates will be voted on. Republicans will hold a precinct caucus on February 29th, starting at 10 a.m. to elect delegates and then vote on them at the county convention March 14th. The final vote for delegates is at the state convention May 16th through the 19th. Democrats will hold a sub-caucus on May 30th to vote on delegates and finalize the vote at the state convention in June 12th through the 14th. Aside from the panelists, members of the League of Women Voters of Kittitas County were helping students register to vote after the event was over.
Don't vote, it's not a democracy anymore. Everyone who's eligible to vote has a voice in their government, and not exercising it isn't a protest, it's a surrender.
You can find the full video of the event and more information at kittitasleague.org under the Presidential Primary Guide tab. So Mariah, about the Tobacco-Free Campus Forum, I know I saw it on campus on posters, but have you heard anything about those?
You know, I think I heard a lot about just kind of the posters and the events, but I didn't really hear too much about the outcomes, so I'm happy, Tamara brought us that story. Things got a bit crazy last weekend at the Short Works Festival.
Don't just stand there, do something. Oh wait, it's not a real fight.
How does a college athlete deal with a career-ending injury?
College sports is kind of like built on like handling adversity and how well you handle it. So like I was kind of prepared for it.
Could fast food be the secret to breaking GNAC records?
With the diet, Fast Food Friday, usually I go out and get some from fast food, Wendy's, McDonald's, wherever.
Sometimes there's no do-over. Some things you can't rewind. That's when an extra safety step could mean the difference between a close call and a call to 911. Simple steps save lives. Learn more at poolsafely.gov.
Vision loss is not something that you feel until it happens.
Most people lose their vision from diseases like macular degeneration and glaucoma, not at birth.
3 million Americans have glaucoma, and half don't even know it.
11 million people in the United States have macular degeneration.
So many eye disorders can be treated if caught early.
Make a plan today to get your eyes checked.
Visit brightfocus.org to learn more.
This is a 5-pound weight.
And this is the other one making 10 pounds.
When you add these two, that's 14.
And when you add these, now it's 15.5 pounds.
Now imagine trying to throw that amount of weight.
Well, there's a Wildcat who did just that. And it was twice as heavy as this.
Who is the Wildcat? Jared Bizette has the answer.
His name is Aiden Kane, and he throws a 35-pound ball far. Really, really far. To give you an idea of just how far, his record-breaking throw is a little longer than the length of a bowling alley. Scott Wilson talked to the new CWU and GNAC record holder.
This throw by Aiden Kane went 61 feet and 10 inches.
There it is, there it is, there it is.
At the UW Invite, Aiden threw a 35-pound ball farther than anyone. It did not just break Central's record, he broke the GNAC record too.
A lot of times I'll downplay achievements because to a certain extent they are expected, but with this one it's a little hard to play it down. Coach put it in good perspective. It's the best throw that has ever happened in our conference, which is really cool.
His coach, Wyatt Myring, was just as excited as he was when the record was broken.
Aiden said he broke the GNAC record, and I was like, oh man, because we thought he had only gotten the CWU record.
After winning GNAC Athlete of the Week twice this season, Coach has confidence Aiden will get to nationals.
Now it's just a game of inches, and I know that he has not a game of inches, but a game of feet in him. You know what I mean?
Kane's throw ranked 17th best in the country. He was the champ in the hammer throw last year, and he's grinding to be the weight throw champ this year.
You can't really ask for someone much better. And in the weight room, he's just an ox, and he's always looking to improve. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
From the PAV, Scott Wilson, Central Newswatch.
Aiden and the Wildcats will take on UW again this week as districts approach. Injuries in sports are tough, but especially tough when they end your career. This happened to former Wildcats tight end Christian Hill Sanders. Holly Hunter shares what's next for him.
In his 2018 season with the Wildcats, Hill Sanders averaged 20.7 yards a game. He played in 6 games, 2 of which he started in. But while preparing for the 2019 season, he suffered a tear in his midfoot.
It was tough for sure. Definitely tough, but college sports is kind of built on handling adversity and how well you can handle it. So I was kind of prepared for it, and I got injured 4 weeks before the actual diagnosis, so I kind of had a feeling.
While he didn't even get the chance to step foot on the field for the 2019 season, that didn't stop Hill Sanders' dream of being in the sports business.
Ooh, if I could be an executive or a front office worker for a professional NBA or NFL team, that'd be great. To potentially start as an intern the next year or two and then working way up the ranks.
For now, though, Hill Sanders plans to graduate in the spring with a degree in sports management. From the CNW Newsroom, Holly Hunter, Central Newswatch.
A 2013 article from The Atlantic states that there are over 20,000 injuries a year in the NCAA for college football. It is currently unknown how many of those are career-ending. CWU men's rugby senior Cole Zarcone and Dane Santos have been best friends since grade school. The two stayed close throughout high school and even lived together here at CWU. When Dane found out that he had cancer 2 months ago, Cole had to help however he could. Will Ortner talked with Cole and Dane about the new challenge they face.
2 months ago, Dane found out that he had stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma.
It's tricky, but I had really big tumors in my chest where I had one the size of a softball behind my heart.
Doctors then put Dane on a 6-month chemotherapy plan. About 206 miles away, here in Ellensburg, Cole wanted to find a way to stand with Dane.
I guess why I shave my head, I'll go into that as well. It's just one little portion of what I can do that he's going through. It's just like a small thing, and I want to do anything I can to help him and show that I'm supporting him. And so it was a somewhat hard decision, just because naturally no one wants to give up your hair, right? But for him, it was totally worth it.
Cole and his family shaved their heads all without being asked, according to Dane. Dane decided to fight cancer the only way he knew how, by doing 20 burpees a day and posting the last 5 on Instagram. This even led to a little trend in Vancouver called the 5 for Dane Challenge. And to end this video, in honoring Dane, I will also do the 5 for Dane Challenge. From the newsroom, Will Ortner, Central Newswatch.
For more information on 5 for Dane, you can visit our Facebook page for a link to his Instagram. Mariah?
Mary, I couldn't imagine being in that position at such a young age, but I'm thankful the community is rallying around him.
Yeah, it sounds like he's really pulling it together.
The Short Works Festival took place last weekend, with 4 original works from students. The theater department gave creative Wildcats an outlet to showcase their talents.
It's time to put your toys away. It's bedtime.
Just a little longer.
5 more minutes. Boy, are you ready to go?
Almost finished, Mom.
5 more minutes. You're gonna be late for graduation. James.
Okay, I'm going.
To all the parents who gave their children the time to discover their passions, thank you.
Corporatism, power dynamics, and treatment of fast food employees. The Short Works Festival last weekend presented various themes and social issues in creative ways. The festival showcased 5 one-act plays. The students directed, produced, designed, and performed in them, all within 5 weeks. Out of the 5 works, students wrote 4 brand new plays.
We don't just teach acting. We teach design, we teach stage management, we teach dance, right? We teach playwriting.
Esquives says the directors pulled different ideas together to create a cohesive vision.
All you can do is hope that they interpret it in the way that you want. And oftentimes it gets interpreted in ways that I could have never dreamed of, and it's much better than what was even in my head.
Whether it's to bring laughter or to bring light to a social issue, directors have a message they want to express.
I definitely wanted to make a show that was explicitly stated to be queer, but that didn't have it as such a focus that it's oh, the only reason that I'm here is because I'm gay.
The play Controlling Interest juxtaposed adulthood and childhood innocence.
Grown-ups can act like children, and there's a child in all of us.
Also behind the scenes, the creative team built and found props, designed sets, costumes, lighting, and sound. The short time constraint had students make quick decisions and meet deadlines.
When a director is all right, cool, make a decision, and then me and 4 other students kind of huddle in the paint room. We're what's this decision gonna be? Should it be super pink or not so pink or middle pink? That's my favorite.
Central Theater Ensemble opens another production called The Wolves in March.
That wraps up this week's of Central News Watch.
Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We'll post news and sports updates throughout the week.
For all of us here at Central News Watch, good night. Oh,